Hey guys, Peter here to do an EP review. Today I'm here to tell you about the latest from Morpholith, Null Dimensions, out December 5th on OZM Records. This EP has 2 tracks, 34 minutes in length. This is their second overall release, second EP. Now before we get started, I want to give you guys a brief bio on this band. They're from Reykjavik, Iceland. They're a doom, stoner, atmospheric, psychedelic metal band. I know it's a mouthful, but I really feel like that's the best way to describe their sound overall. Now when I got this EP for release, I wasn't really sure if I was going to be able to listen to it, and I didn't have any expectations, or perhaps I had really low expectations. I was expecting the album to be perhaps a little bit raw, rough around the edges. This is a band, it's not a household name. It doesn't have a lot of support behind it. It's not signed to a major label. So I didn't have any sort of lofty expectations coming in. The moment I pressed play, I was blown away by the quality of the recording. The production is phenomenal. When you have an album that is this atmospheric, or an EP I should say, that is this atmospheric, that really lives off of the different layers that the sound has, you have to be able to record them in a very concise and a very precise kind of way. And that was the first thing that jumped at me. The overall quality of the sound is phenomenal. It really enhances the overall experience of listening to these tracks. And speaking of tracks, let's get started. Orb is the first song. It clocks in at 20.5 minutes. This one is a meal. You really have to digest this one, and it's a very slow burning song. It's a song that lives off of its atmosphere, an atmosphere that it lingers not only at the beginning of the track, but then throughout the track. In some moments of the song, it feels like it's more present than others, but it's always there. And it has a lot of psychedelic elements built into its sound, into its vibe, into how it comes across. They're not in your face necessarily, but they're part of that atmosphere, and you can feel them as you progress through this song. The vocals have a very somber spirit as the track starts. They're hidden almost deep into the mix in a way that they fade in with the atmosphere that surrounds them. So the vocals and atmosphere almost become one as this song starts out in that very slow burning process, very methodic kind of way. Then at the midway point, the song changes. It becomes a little bit more intense. It doesn't take anything away from everything that you got up until that point. It doesn't take anything away from the atmosphere that it has, but it definitely changes the intensity and changes your perception of the track, and perhaps is a glimpse of what's to come. And what's to come if this outburst of aggression in the last third of the track, both musically and vocally. Vocally, you're going to get harsh vocals coming in, pushing themselves to the forefront, becoming more predominant, becoming more demanding of your attention. And musically, the song definitely becomes heavier, more driven, more powerful, bigger wall of sound coming at you. Now then, as the track comes to a close, it starts to die out, and it doesn't go full circle. It doesn't go back to how the song started, because it is lost. After all of that aggression, the atmosphere has been drained out. It's been lost. But you have a sense of finality at the end of the track. And then that finality plays into the beginning of Monocarp, which is the next song that comes in at 14 minutes or 13 minutes and 45 seconds. Now, the atmosphere of this track is different. It has psychedelic elements, but they're more pronounced. They're more in the forefront. They feel like static waves coming at you. And to me, that was something that didn't work very well for this track. Because while the previous track, Orb, was an atmospheric-driven song, this is more a guitar-driven song. It's heavier on the guitars are grittier, they have more power, they're really pushing the track forward. So those psychedelic elements in the atmosphere really break that heaviness. It really breaks the fluidity that the track has, and becomes a distraction overall as this song gets started. So I would have loved to have lived without it. I think it would have made this song more impactful, more dynamic, and definitely would make the song more fluid. It wouldn't feel as broken as it does in the beginning, because you're trying to pay attention to the guitars, you're trying to go where the guitars are taking you, and at the same time you're getting these psychedelic elements coming at you, breaking that routine, breaking that sense of comfort that the song is trying to give you. Overall, this is a much heavier track. It still moves at a slow burning process. Sometimes feels like it's moving faster because of the heaviness that it has, and also because of the dynamic elements of the vocals, changing between clean vocals and harsh vocals. That to me breathes life into the song. It is the spark that keeps this track alive, that keeps this track moving. It helps the guitars feel heavy and move the song but really pushes the track forward. It gives a sense of momentum to the song. Without that dynamic change between the vocals, the song would feel very heavy and drawn out. So changing between clean and harsh vocals really brings life to the track. It really allows the song to have a little bit more presence, to be a little bit fuller, have more volume, more layers overall. I really enjoyed this track. This is definitely a guitar-driven track compared to Orb, which, like I said, was more of an atmospheric-driven song all around. Alright guys, I really want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this band, on this EP? Have you had a chance to listen to them? These guys really put together a phenomenal EP. Considering the sound, the production, the recording, everything around it, I really enjoyed it. Now there's some things, like I said, with the songs that could have been changed, specifically with the psychedelic elements of the second track, Monocarp. I really felt that it took a little bit away from the song, but overall, these two tracks are very interesting, and it really showcased the quality of this band. They have the potential to reach really far. You could see it in these two songs. These are their calling cards. These two tracks will be their calling cards, and this EP definitely will do that for the band, and perhaps push them to a much larger arena and get a little more eyeballs to pay attention to what they're doing. But I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on this band? Have you heard from them? Have you heard any of their material, this EP, the previous EP? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care, guys.